Is up? What is up? It's your boy CoreyB. So check it out. There's a paradox when for every entrepreneur has faced it at some point. Most of us face it earlier than we want, and some people we hit a stride and then we hit it, right? But everybody's been through it. I've been through it many times before, and I'm gonna be through it again probably. But you're gonna get to that level where it's not an issue anymore, and you're in the sweet spot. You're in the butter zone. So right now, though, when you building your business, right? When you're trying to get something launched and you're trying to get something off the ground, you're going to face this paradox that you ultimately got to spend money in order to make money. But in order to spend money, you got to have money. So how do you spend money you don't got, right? So what a lot of people do is they take out lines of credit, they max out their credit cards, they do all these different things. And I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong, but I'm going to tell you, don't get in over your head. Okay, see, so the reality is the best possible situation is to keep your 9-to-5 job, whatever job you got, right? Whether you're working 9 to 5 or you working overnights, you working weekends, whatever you're doing, whatever job you're working before you launch your business, keep it. You work your 9 to 5 doing your job. You work your 6 to 10 running your business. Or building your business, so to speak, right? Because that's what you got to do. Because you got to keep that 9 to 5 so you can fund and funnel money into your 6 to 10. And then when you get your 6 to 10 running and you get it going and you start generating some revenue, then you take that money that you're generating and you funnel it back into your 6 to 10. And you take any profits that you get and you just keep reinvesting it and growing your business to where you want it to be. And you'll get there, right? Now, there becomes this bottleneck, right? There's this sweet spot where all of a sudden you've got too many things growing, you got too many things happening, and you can't keep working that 9 to 5 anymore because you're never gonna have the time to devote to your 6 to 10. But your 6 to 10 is profitable. You're making money. You've been doing this, I don't know. So let's just say hypothetically you've been doing this for 2 years, right? And so you're generating money. You're making substantial cash. Now some people do it in 4 or 5 months. But working only 4 hours here and there, you know what I'm saying? Some people, they got family, they got a wife, they got children, they got other things going on in their life. They got PTA meetings, soccer games, football, cheerleading, whatever. They got all this different stuff that they got to go to and they got to handle. And so ultimately working that 6 to 10, that's, they're not doing that at all. They're not really getting to sit down until like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. And then they're trying to push through. And when you're trying to push through at that point, all you're going to get is like an hour. Maybe 2 hours. Maybe you push through and you work till 1, 2 in the morning, but your brain is fried by that point. So how much are you really getting done? And it's a struggle to really manage and, get to that point of financial viability. But you got to, right? So you got to keep pushing forward and you got to get there. I promise you, I've been there. I promise you, I've been there. I promise you I've been there, and the reality is not everybody can function on no sleep. I promise. My lovely wife thinks she's just like, Corey, you just function without sleep. No. I function sometimes without sleep. But it catches up to you. It really does. It's always going to catch up. It's always going to get to that point where your brain shuts down and you're done. And you know what? She's seen me. She's seen me at my absolute worst. She's seen me where I all of a sudden had my homeboy over at my house. My daughter was there. My homeboy was there. We was all hanging out. And I was like, my brain shut down. I was having a conversation that wasn't even making sense anymore. Right? I've been there. So the reality is that yes, you can push yourself to a place that your brain isn't functioning anymore. You can push yourself to a place where you got yourself in too deep as far as like being stretched way too thin. Now, so what my main focus right here is just the financial aspect of it. We could dive more into, stretching your time and making every one of those minutes count later. But for right now, let's just talk about the financial aspect of it. And like I said, you can take out a line of credit. You can take out a line of credit. You can max out your credit card. You can burn through your savings. You can do all that, right? But you can get yourself in so deep that how are you going to pay off that stuff if your business doesn't turn around. And I say the word if, and people don't like that word if, because if you're going to build a business, you can't go in with ifs and maybes and possibilities and, wondering. You've got to believe, you got to know without a shadow of a doubt. You got to know this is my business model. This is going to work and it's going to be good, right? Okay, yes, you do, but it's a matter of timing. Are you going to be able to, if you've got a wife and kids and you got a family and you got bills to pay, lights to keep on, a roof to keep over your head, food to keep on a table, ultimately you can't burn yourself out and be like, I'm depleted, I've got no money, right? You can't get to that point. You can never let it get to that point. So you've got to keep some reservation. You've got to keep some cash flow in your bank or on your credit cards or somewhere. Now, again, I've said it before that being willing to sacrifice everything you've got to build your business is what you got to do, right? In order to get those inches, in order to succeed, in order to triumph when other people are failing, you've got to be able to sacrifice and wager and leverage what they're not willing to do. If you're willing to put in what they're not willing to, then that's what's going to give you that extra edge. That's going to get you where they're not at. They can't get to where you're at because you're willing to sacrifice what they won't. Now, with that being said, you got to be smart. So what you got to do is, if you are going to wager and leverage your savings, right? If you're going to leverage money you don't got, and for those that aren't following what that means, that's meaning tapping into credit cards, getting lines of credit, whether it's personal lines of credit or business lines of credit. Either way, that is leveraging money that's not yours. It is not your money. You are leveraging on I'll pay you back mentality, right? And they're going to charge you interest, right? So sometimes that may be beneficial. Sometimes it may be okay. Because the reality is, I'm not anti-credit at all. First of all, no businessman is. No real businessman is anti-credit. Now, they're anti-carrying credit and never paying it down. You've got to pay that mess off. So that's where you got to be sure that whatever you leveraging, you're going to get it back. And you got to get it back. And the way that you leverage as little as possible until you to that point of financial viability where you got that cash flow just coming in so you can continue to leverage and pay off. Leverage, pay off, leverage, pay off. Until you're at that place, what you got to do is you got to start thinking smart, right? You got to think, what is the bare minimum that I can utilize to get ahead, right? What is the minimum that I can invest into my business and get my business stepping up to that next place? Now, if you can tap into that, that's when you're really going to get there. So the thing is knowing that sweet spot of the minimum, like, okay, what do you have in your house that you can utilize for your business? Right now, I'm using a white table. I haven't bought my new desk yet. Now, I had a desk when I was back in Austin. I had a desk, I had a shop table, I had a work table, I had all this different stuff set up in my house in Austin, in my garage in Austin, upstairs in our in my my inventory room. I had all kinds of stuff, and I had all kinds of, but we gave a lot of that away when we traveled to Wyoming, because ultimately, when we was traveling, we had a 26-foot truck plus a trailer hooked up to the back of my Escape. And still, we were tapped out with space and room. We were done. We had no more room for any, so we had to let go of a lot of furniture, and we did. We let go of a lot of our furniture. We blessed some people. It was really a huge blessing that we just happened, it was a God thing, happened to meet a couple that was opening their own secondhand thrift store, and they needed things, and they were strong Christians, and it was super cool. They said how much it was a blessing that they just found us, and that we were thinking, man, we're going to have to leave some of this stuff at the dump. At the trash, hoping that it doesn't get just thrown away. But, ultimately, we found a family to bless with it, and it blessed us and it blessed them to be able to do that. But so I let go a lot of stuff like that. A lot of stuff like that, I was like, I don't need this stuff. I can get better anyways. I can get what I want eventually. But now that we're here, I got a fold-up table. A fold-up table that I got folded out as my desk right here. Okay? And As y'all know, the things you can see behind me is chaos. It's a dang mess. But look, I got a white fold-out table. You know, that's what I'm working with right now, right? That's what I'm working with. And the reason that I say that is because this is something we already had. I didn't buy it. It was something we already had. We've had this since me and Kimberly got married. We've had this thing. This thing was actually a prop table at our wedding. At the reception, we used it. And now I'm utilizing it as my desk. This thing has been through a lot. You got to take what you have and make what you have work. Now, I have plans. I've shopped around and found a desk that I want that's going to fit into this room, into this space, into this my little office. But I don't need it today. And like I said, I'm showing you this just to give you perspective. This is what you got to do. You got to ultimately think about things. How can I be efficient? How can I be effective? How can I utilize what I have so I don't waste what I could be utilizing on something else? Because you want to leverage as little money as possible. Because you want to leverage in profitable areas. A desk doesn't make me profit. It doesn't. Now, I want a desk because I like it, because it makes me comfortable, makes me happy, makes me feel cool and classy. But the reality is I don't need one. It don't make me money. A desk don't make me money. So I'm trying to do more and more videos like this. Y'all can see on my other channel, my Bayless Boys channel. Y'all can see on that channel about how I'm tapping into more of just day-to-day life. And how, like, you know, I show all me and my boys our adventures and stuff like that. But I'm also tapping into some homeschool stuff, things like that, because I'm running a business from home and I am homeschooling my boys all while we've been traveling throughout the world. Or, not through the world, sorry, don't let me get bold here. We've been traveling through the Pacific Northwest of the United States, while my wife has been a travel nurse for the last 2.5 years. And while we've been on the road, we've been making things work. There's no reason to spend money on, I mean, we've found ourselves multiple times. We've been in Airbnbs, hotels, things like that. And we've had to buy little pieces of furniture and things like that. If we couldn't buy something that folded up where we could take it with us from place to place, then ultimately sometimes we bought something cheap and we had to let it go because we didn't have the way to take it to the next place, or we didn't know if the next place would have room for it. So we've tapped into that mentality of trying to be frugal and be wise and not spend what we don't need to spend, because that money could be better placed in other investments that are profitable. If y'all been following me for long enough, y'all know I invest in stocks, I invest in trading, I do lots of different things like that. And I would rather put my money there or spend my money taking the boys to do something cool, taking Kimberly out to do something fun, rather than putting money into something that's not necessary at this particular moment, not knowing what the next step is going to be. Now, as we have solidified that we're going to be in this place for a while until we get our new place, and our new place is going to be here in Gillette. With that mentality in mind, I've started actually getting a few more pieces of furniture. We're working on that and developing that. But it's not something we're rushing into. We're not being careless about it. We're trying to be frugal. We're trying to be wise. We're trying to make, calculated steps. Like I said, whether you're interested in growing your business, homeschooling, just leveling your family up in a new life, a new aspect, a new station in your life, ultimately, let's be wise about it. You work too hard for your dollars to waste them. So, like I said, there's a paradox. You got to have money. You got to spend money to make money, but you got to have money to spend money. Sometimes you got to leverage what you don't got. But let's close that gap a little bit. Let's minimize how much we're leveraging, unless we're leveraging in better places that are profitable. Like I said, like the stock market, like investments, like investing in real estate. You want to leverage in those areas? Let's go big. But leveraging to give you comfort, oh man, be careful. All right, I hope this helps. I hope it gives you some insight. This is your boy. Y'all stay tuned. I got more coming at you. Later.